Easy crew back once again with another video, and today we're going to talk about how to connect your MIDI devices up, and this is in response to a email from a man like Shane. So this goes out to you, Shane, and Shane's question and comments is as follows.
G-Day Bizib. Been rinsing out the latest doublet wars on YouTube. Much toughness. I was wondering if you could help out or point me in the right direction. I recently copped an Akai S3000 XL and S2000 for a steal. 6,000 yen each in Japan. Bloody steal. The backlights are faded. Cases scuffed. Buttons yellowed. They have seen better days. RAM expansions. 32 MB each. Have been ordered and delivered, as has one of those FDD USB units. I am thinking of making a series of YT videos about restoring, or at least upgrading them, and any advice would be welcome. But my main question is, how do I chain them and connect them to my PC MIDI-wise? I have never used more than one MIDI device, and I have built up a few devices, bearing a TB3, RD8, Roland 303 and 808 knockoffs respectively, and fortunately, in Japan used kit is generally in good nick and cheap, so I can see my studio getting larger, much to my wife's disdain. I guess I will be using Renoise as growing up. I used Screen Tracker and Fast Tracker too. Fucking hell, that was a long time ago. Any advice is eagerly welcomed. Big ups.
All right.
Shane.
All right, so nice one, Shane. Thanks for pointing that out. So firstly, for your Akai's, you're going to need to get a new screen upgrade, obviously. There are some options for that. Your inverter could have gone down. If not your inverter, you'd obviously need to test that. Hopefully you know what you're doing. Be careful when you're messing with that inverter. It pushes out about 140 odd volts. It's quite powerful. But there are lower voltage versions you can connect. Apparently you can cut down an iPhone screen and power that up using a buck converter. I haven't got round to doing that just yet, and there's also some cheaper options which I'm happy to share with you, but there's also a cheap inverter you can get, but it's a little bit screamy and makes a lot higher frequency. But the main thing today is we're going to talk about how to collect up multiple MIDI devices. Guys, this website is called iConnectivity.com. Nice little blog. I suggest you go check it out. Got to give them credit where due. They've made a lovely little diagram here that kind of shows you how to get your initial DAW set up based on just one MIDI keyboard. But what we're going to cover here today is how to connect up your sampler. Mostly multiple output gear. Skiving off work at the moment, so I'm going to have to keep this one short and sweet. So in a nutshell, here's the back of a sampler. This is the I've got it down here, the E5000 DJ Pulse's sampler. Big up to DJ Pulse. I'm going to do a video about this E5000 sampler. If for those of you who want to know, please subscribe to the channel. It's all about this kind of stuff. So on your sampler, you've got a MIDI in, out, and through. Now, what you do is from your DAWs, MIDI out. So obviously your DAW has to have a breakout cable or some sort of MIDI out port. That would come out of the DAW into the in. Now, kind of imagine it like it's sewing, right? You go out of one gear into here, and then you go through, not out again. The difference between out and through is through will repeat whatever signal you have going in. So you could do multiple devices by going in through one device, then get to the next device, in through that into the next device. So it's like you're stitching, right? The out, on the other hand, will kind of take more control. It will be kind of like a master on MIDI. You've got like a master and a slave unit. The master is the one that's sending out the main signal. The slave unit is just copying what the master is doing. If you use the output, that device kind of takes master over the other device, and it repeats exactly what this device is doing. It's a bit complicated, but I never use the out unless I'm trying to use it as some sort of MIDI controller. So I wouldn't worry about that part of it. The next thing to consider is once you use the in and out and through, you are limited to 16 channels, which means that your 16 MIDI channels has to be used on different devices spread out equally. So for example, if you've got a bass and a sort of, sorry, say for example, a drum, a breakbeat, and a bass on this one, then maybe you would be using 2 channels, which would mean that you'd have 14 channels left, which you can use on other devices for other sounds and stuff like that. So don't get confused. Channel MIDI channels are nothing to do with output channels. They're just to do with how many bits you can control. Not like on your modern DAW, you can have unlimited channels and put unlimited things depending on how your DAW can take it. On MIDI, you've got you're limited to 16 channels. Now, some MIDI interfaces have 2 MIDI ports, and some devices have 2 MIDI ports, which means they can use up to 32 channels. But they would be on 2 separate MIDI buses, and you would do that from within your DAW. So that's just a quick video to give you like an insight. If you have any questions, please pop them down below. Anything you need to know about gear setup in the studio, retro gear setup mainly, please comment down below and I'll do my best to help you out with that. Alternatively, I also offer one-to-one Skype sessions, but I've got to admit, at the moment, it's very busy for me. So you may be waiting a while to get that session up and running. All right, guys. So that's it for today's video. Take care. God bless. Peace.